think most of us have a tendency to do God stuff on Sundays and keep that separate from our work stuff during the rest of the week. We go to church, plug in, get filled up, and then attack the work week. By Monday morning, the battle of work begins, and we're in a completely different world than the one we were in just 24 hours earlier when we were at church. But I've found that the issues I encounter at work provide an opportunity to put into practice what I've learned on those previous Sundays in church. The lessons of the Bible for me are most applicable in my work, and that's also the area of the greatest struggle for me. Galatians 5:22, my favorite scripture by the way, tells us that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's my favorite scripture because those are all the things I want in my life. For me, everything I do is in pursuit of one of those fruits. My family, my work life, my hobbies, my exercise, even my sin. I do all of these things because I'm pursuing one of these fruits. I want love, I want peace, I want joy. If I just have those three, I'm in really good shape, regardless of what else is going on in my life or what might not be going well. When I'm on vacation with my family in some really cool place, I'm feeling love, joy, and peace. But when I'm at work, I often feel the opposite. Like many people, when I'm at work, I feel anxious, worry, sometimes dread, sometimes even fear. Some people feel hopeless or angry at their boss, all kinds of really bad emotions. Those feelings are opposite of the fruit of the Spirit. Those are more like weeds of the enemy. But what if you could trade the bad feelings of work for the great feelings of love, joy, and peace from the Spirit? Who wouldn't make that trade? To feel the love, joy, and peace of vacation when you're at work. Work provides the opportunity to allow God to develop the fruit of love in you when you're dealing with a difficult coworker or boss. Work provides the opportunity to allow God to grow joy in you when your environment is oppressive or difficult. And work provides the opportunity for God to grow peace in you when you're experiencing anxiety, worry, or chaos. And if you can experience love, joy, and peace when dealing with difficult people in a difficult environment that you don't want to be in, then you've really grown some serious spiritual fruit and have received a gift that God promises He'll provide if we will follow Him and pursue Him, even when we're at work. Having fellowship with God, a connection with God throughout our workday, is the key to allowing Him to transform our work lives, the key to getting God's best for us while we're at work. There's several ways that I try to bring God to work with me. All of these things are aimed at connecting with God throughout the day. I'm nowhere near Brother Lawrence, but I'm getting much better. First, I start each day by reading a few Bible-based devotionals. I subscribe to a couple of devotionals that are emailed to me. They're free. You just provide an email address. And when I get into the office in the morning, they're already waiting for me. It takes me just a few minutes to read each one, but gets me started on the day with a biblical scripture and something educational about that scripture. I also have a few times of pre-planned prayer throughout the day, times that are set in my routine to pause for a few minutes to connect with God through prayer. I start each day with a prayer in my office. I ask God to help me today, help me to stay connected to you throughout the day, to remind me if I'm distant from Him at any point in the day. And I'm gonna be honest, about 5 minutes after I say the prayer, I admit that I'm no longer thinking about God. My mind jumps right into the fires of the day. But I have purposely started the day with Him at work, and that counts as a great God-honoring step. The second pre-planned prayer time for me sounds unusual to many people, but I specifically pray over assignments at work. If I can't solve a problem, I feel overwhelmed with a work issue, or even something as simple as I can't find the file because I've misplaced it. I stop, I take a minute to calm myself down and consciously reconnect with God by asking Him to help me. I ask Him, please calm my mind, please help my thinking, please grant me wisdom. Whatever the issue is, I'll ask Him to please help me. I'm amazed how often something comes to light that I was previously missing. Somebody comes in with a fact that I was unaware of, or just some random idea from out of the blue that was not in my mind before I prayed. Now, I want to be careful here. I'm not saying that there's some magic formula for getting God to solve my work problems, but I am saying that I'm blown away how often problems get solved when I ask for God's help on tasks that I think many people would think are too small for God to be bothered with. I think the opposite. I think it honors God when we involve Him in all areas of our lives, and that includes the things I need help with at work. And the third pre-planned prayer time concerns when something good happens for me at work. I take time to thank God. I admit again, right here, I'm more apt to ask God for help during the day than I am to thank Him when something goes well. So I fall down here a lot. But when some little thing goes right, my plan and my goal is to acknowledge the Lord and thank Him. If I can ask Him to solve the problems I encounter throughout the day, I want to make sure that I acknowledge Him and thank Him throughout the day as well. There are times when the heat comes immediately in a meeting, interaction with my boss, coworker, or customer, a situation where I'm on my heels, feeling the heat, feeling the pressure, feeling the fight or flight instinct. And when my mind starts racing, it gets on 911 emergency mode. I feel anxious, tension, adrenaline in my body. I try in those moments to pray. This is really, really hard because, my mind, as I'm sure you can relate, is completely engaged in trying to figure out what I'm going to do. How am I going to respond to this issue, the heat? Usually in the form of some difficult interaction I'm having at the moment. But it's in those moments where I think that God sometimes is answering my prayer from earlier in the day to remind me when I'm getting detached from Him, the prayer I try to start the day with. I'll get a thought, talk to God right now. So I'll do that. I'll do something quickly in my mind's eye, not out loud. I'll picture Jesus, talk to Him for just a second, picture Him sitting in one of the chairs at the table in front of me. Just something to connect with Him in that split second when my mind and my body are engaged in the trial of the moment. Lastly, I carry a few papers in my briefcase of key scriptures that speak to me, scriptures that I like to read to remind me of the promises of God. I have a terrible memory, so I write them all down, and when a scripture jumps out at me, I capture it in my notes. And because I have a terrible memory, I can pick up my paper in a month, read all those cool scriptures again to be reminded of God's promises. Promises that include the development of the spiritual gifts of love, joy, and peace, and a significant connection to Him even at work. That's why I say my greatest struggle and greatest opportunity for spiritual development is in my work life. It's the area of my life where I struggle the most to stay connected to God. And it's the area of my life where I can benefit the most from His love, joy, and peace.